I knew I was alone in the house, but around 1:30 a.m., I heard a door close softly downstairs. This happened when I was 17, during my last year of high school. At the time, I was living with my parents in a pretty normal suburban neighborhood. Nothing fancy, just quiet streets, families that mostly kept to themselves, and houses that all looked kinda similar. It was the kind of place where nothing ever really happened, which is probably why I didn't think twice about being home alone that night. My parents were going out to dinner with friends. They did that every couple of weeks. Usually they'd be gone for 2 or 3 hours, sometimes longer. I'd stay home, eat leftovers, watch TV, and enjoy having the house to myself. It wasn't a big deal. I'd been home alone plenty of times before. I remember it was a weeknight. I had school the next day. It was late fall, so it was already dark outside by the time they left. Before they walked out, my mom reminded me to lock the doors, like she always did. I remember rolling my eyes and saying I would. After they left, I locked the front door, flipped on the porch light, and went back to my room. My room was upstairs, at the end of the hallway. I turned on the TV, laid on my bed, and scrolled through my phone. I don't remember exactly what I was watching, probably a rerun of something I'd already seen. I wasn't paying much attention. For the first hour or so, everything felt completely normal. The house made its usual sounds, the heater kicking on, pipes creaking, stuff I'd grown up with and barely noticed anymore. I remember getting up once to grab a drink from the kitchen. I turned on all the lights downstairs, like I always did when I was alone. It made the house feel less empty. I went back to my room and shut the door, leaving it cracked open just enough to let some light from the hallway in. I didn't think much of it at the time, but looking back, that's when things started to feel a little off. It wasn't anything specific, just a general sense of unease, like when you feel like you forgot something important but you can't remember what. I paused the TV for no real reason and just listened. Everything was quiet. Too quiet, maybe. But I brushed it off. I told myself I was just bored. A few minutes later, I heard a noise downstairs. It sounded like a soft thump. Not loud, just enough to catch my attention. I figured it was probably the heater or something falling over. The house was old. It made noises all the time. Still, I paused the TV again and listened. Nothing. I waited a few seconds, then hit play. I tried to focus on the show, but I couldn't shake that uneasy feeling. My eyes kept drifting toward my bedroom door. I didn't feel scared yet, just alert. Then I heard another sound. This time it was more distinct. It sounded like something sliding, slow, careful, coming from downstairs. I sat up in bed. I tried to explain it away. Maybe my parents forgot something and came back. That made sense. They'd only been gone about an hour. But I never heard the front door open. The alarm didn't beep, and usually if they came back, they'd call my name. So I waited. I remember holding my breath without realizing it. My room felt warmer all of a sudden, like the air was thick. I listened as hard as I could. Then I heard a cabinet open and close. That's when my stomach dropped. It wasn't loud. It wasn't rushed. It was slow and deliberate, like whoever was down there didn't want to be heard. I didn't move. I didn't even blink. I just sat there, staring at my door. I told myself I was overthinking it. Maybe something fell. Maybe the sound carried weirdly. I didn't want to panic over nothing. So I waited for another sound that would prove I was wrong. Instead, I heard footsteps. They were faint, but unmistakable. Someone walking across the kitchen floor. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I slid off my bed as quietly as I could and crept over to my door. I didn't open it. I just leaned close and listened. The footsteps stopped. That scared me more than anything. It felt like whoever it was knew I was listening. A few seconds passed. Then I heard movement again. This time it sounded like the back door opening. For a moment I felt relieved. I thought maybe they were leaving. Then I heard the door close and lock and lock. I felt cold all over. My hands were shaking. I grabbed my phone and called my dad. I didn't even wait for him to say hello. I whispered, "I think someone's in the house." While I was on the phone, I heard footsteps on the stairs, slow, heavy, one step at a time. They stopped halfway up, like whoever it was listening. I crouched down next to my bed, holding the phone so tight my hand hurt. I could barely hear my dad over the sound of my breathing. Then the footsteps continued. They came all the way up the stairs and down the hallway. I remember how familiar the sounds were, those same floorboards creaking like they had my whole life. But this time, every step felt wrong. The footsteps stopped right outside my door. There was a pause, long enough that I wondered if they'd moved on. Then the door handle turned, slowly, not aggressively, just enough to test it. I didn't scream, I didn't move, I just stared at the door and waited. The door handle stopped. I heard breathing, soft, close. They stood there for a few seconds, then stepped away. I listened as the footsteps moved away, down the hallway. I stayed where I was until sirens lit up my window. The police arrived before my parents. They searched the house with flashlights while I sat on my bed shaking. The back door was unlocked. There were muddy footprints in the kitchen. A few cabinets had been opened. Nothing was stolen. They never found anyone. The police said it was probably someone who thought the house was empty, but that explanation never sat right with me. Because if that were true, why did they lock the door? Why did they move so quietly? Why did they come upstairs and try my door? And why didn't they run when they realized I was home? As far as I know, they were never caught. Even now, years later, I still think about how long they might have been watching the house, waiting. I don't like being home alone at night anymore, and I don't think I ever will.